So we were in mid-Shabbos. We already know about all the things you don't do in order not to make food. Remember that? Mm-hmm. Then we got up to most of the things that you do in order to make cloth. We got up to actually making the cloth, right? Remember this? Mm-hmm. Then you have dyeing the cloth, okay? So after you wash it and it's cloth, then you dye it. So dyeing is also forbidden on Shabbos in the sense of coloring, right? If you feel like dropping dead, well, Okay, so this includes all forms of using color to change, to change the coloring that you see. Coloring, painting, all of that, okay? Then you would have cut out the pattern and sewed it, and now you're finished with cloth making. Next thing is leather making. Some of the things are made out of leather. So very similarly to cloth, you begin by trapping the animal. So remember, don't trap animals on Shabbos, even if it's your younger brother. No, whatever. Okay. Okay. If an animal is dangerous, for instance, okay, if you happen to be walking down the street and you see a lion, feel free to call the authorities. They're allowed to trap it on Shabbos. Okay.
Can you call the authorities?
Yes, I mean, yes, you can, because of the lion's great danger. Okay, yeah?
So does that mean that you couldn't cage your dog?
So here's the thing with pets. It's very tricky with pets. It says explicitly in the Torah it should be a day of freedom for them also. So when you're walking your dog, if the dog will walk right beside you out of his own will, that's fine. But if you have to put a leash on him, that's not so fine. Okay, if the leash isn't to control him, but because the authorities require a leash, okay, which sometimes happens, that's different. Okay, clear? You can't trap animals on Shabbos. Okay, you can't force them to come to you. Like people are very attached to their pets. So they'll pick them up and they'll put them on their laps. Pets don't have to be your entertainment on Shabbos. They could be themselves. They could walk around. They could have freedom. Okay, freedom from who? Us. Right, okay, clear? Okay, so any care of animals that you do should be done when possible before Shabbos. Okay, clear? So fish, which don't eat every day. Fish eat like once, twice a week. So feed them not on Shabbos. Like they should be free of you. Okay, clear? Okay, so that's, now if an animal is dangerous, you won't find a lion, but you have like a bee or whatever. You can't trap it or kill it. What you could do is open the window and shoo it out. Okay, clear? But that basically is what you could do. You're not talking about one that's truly dangerous. A bee is annoying, but not dangerous in the objective sense, unless somebody around has an allergy to bee stings, in which case it is dangerous and you should kill it by whatever means. Okay, clear?
Like same with the cockroach?
What?
Same with the cockroach?
Yeah, like the cockroach in your sink. Let it just be.
Oh my God.
It's like not under your control today. If it flows down to the sink because you were washing dishes and now it's in the drain, that's okay. You don't have to fish it out, okay, or prevent it from falling in, but you can't purposely trap it.
Oh my gosh, okay. Even if it's going to ruin your Shabbos?
Work on yourself. It's like, like, give it a break. Give the poor cockroach a break. Let it be, okay?
Yeah, that's the goal.
If you can get it to like fall onto a piece of paper, people do this. So it goes on of its own volition to a piece of paper. You can pick up the whole piece of paper and put it out on the windowsill so it'll, what. I can't resist telling you a true and funny story. I really shouldn't tell you this or whatever. Okay, this didn't happen on Shabbos, but it relates. I have a friend who's the kind of person who things happen to. You understand what I mean? Yeah. So she has a very large porch with potted plants, very beautiful, like a little jungle, very, very beautiful. So her kids bought a turtle. Okay, her neighbor, a turtle. Okay, her neighbor downstairs, who was like at the end of a pregnancy, was sitting on her porch, just like in an easy chair, relaxing. The turtle did a kamikaze dive. And like there it is on the neighbor, okay? So she doesn't know about this, right? She's just like living her life and like, doesn't know about this. The neighbor is into animal, is into animal protection. So she gets a call from the neighbor a little while later saying, "Don't worry, he's okay. It's only a broken leg." Now what should she think? Be her. Her kids, her husband, whatever. So she said, "What happened?" like, and she was kind of surprised that the neighbor is calling, whatever. So she says, well, he fell off the porch. Now, try to,
Oh my God.
like, yeah, but it's all right. I took him to the vet. That's when she figured it out. Like, So the vet actually put the turtle under anesthesia and set its leg. Okay, clear? Okay, so she said, you did what? You took it. How much is this going to cost me? So she said, $70. So she said, that's ridiculous. So she said, well, what would you have done? So he said, me? I would have thrown it down the garbage. So that's a different attitude towards animals that some people have. I just wanted, different people have different attitudes. Okay, clear? Okay, but at Shabbos, you're supposed to free your animals to be them and not to be under your jurisdiction. Okay, clear? Okay, next. So after the animal is killed for leather making, okay, you have to skin the animal. Okay? You're not allowed to skin anything on Shabbos. This includes taking your own skin off your body, like when you, with your hangnails and your cuticles and all of the other disgusting things we do that don't bear talking about. Okay, don't flay yourself on Shabbos. Okay, clear?
So
yeah?
you can't pop a pimple?
None of it. Just leave your body alone.
Oh my God, that's
Okay,
so
clear?
hard.
Yes, and this. Okay, whatever. Okay, next. Next thing is the skin has to be cured in chemicals, otherwise it rots. So you're not allowed to cure anything on Shabbos. So this includes taking anything that was once living, like even vegetables, and making them able to last permanently through what you expose them to, like making pickles, okay, all of the things that people do to preserve things. Okay, clear? Okay, next, the next step would be they would smooth the leather by putting oils on it. They would smooth the oils into the leather. Okay, clear? So you can't do any smoothing of oils into skin. No skin cream. No, what other things do people do with skin?
Makeup.
Okay, no, well, makeup is a problem with coloring anyway. Okay, so with makeup, the only leniencies that are there, and is makeup hard for any of you? Not wearing makeup on Shabbos? You don't look like it would be so hard for you. I'm sorry. Okay.
So funny.
Okay, but if you were a fashionista and this was a real issue, okay, water-based makeup that's the same color as your skin, more or less, you could be lenient with. But most makeup is oil-based and most of it isn't the color of your skin. But it looks like you'll all cope. Okay, next. Okay, clear? So, okay, this next would be after they do that. Okay, so again, similarly to with cloth, you have cutting the patterns, sewing it together. That basically is it. Okay, clear? Okay, next thing, okay, but, I should go back one step. So with creams and stuff, you can't squeeze out toothpaste on Shabbos. Toothpaste is a cream. So you could use liquid toothpaste on Shabbos if you want to. So the liquid toothpaste they have here is called Tident, and it's good. Okay, liquid means it'll flow out if you turn it upside down, unlike Colgate, which makes you wonder what's in it anyway, but that's another story. I remember when I was a child, they had this Colgate commercial on TV in which they showed somebody walking in a field, and then somebody, I think this was so unpolitically correct, somebody with an assault rifle would shoot them, but it wouldn't hit them because they have, quote, an invisible protective shield. And this is what Colgate supposedly does for your teeth. Okay, clear? And it was at that point I began to wonder, what's inside this stuff? Okay, not just cleaning it, yeah, why is it bulletproof? What, So in any case, okay, next, house building. Okay, so you can't build a house or a tent. So that means if you're going to camp over Shabbos, you have to see that your tent is pitched on Friday way before Shabbos. Okay, clear? Okay, what defines a tent is something with a roof, right? So an umbrella is a portable tent. You understand this? So that's why you can't open an umbrella on Shabbos. Okay? Tov.
If you have one opened, you can use it?
Potentially, yes, but there's a decree against doing this because people would forget themselves, open it and close it. Okay, clear? Okay, some baby carriages have these hoods. So if you think it's going to rain on Shabbos, so you open it partially before Shabbos, so you could finish opening it on Shabbos. Okay, clear? Okay, what else is involved? You can't fix anything that breaks. Okay, so that would include, doors, windows, anything that breaks, you have to wait until after Shabbos to fix it. Okay, affixing something. There's a difference between fixing and affixing. There are things that are made to be taken apart, like a table that opens into, to bigger, yeah? Or folding chairs. So that's not considered fixing something that's broken. That's just making it work on its own terms. Okay, clear? So on a practical level, anything that requires tools is probably not going to be good for Shabbos. Okay, clear? Okay. Okay, questions that arise concerning building. Okay, so we spoke about not making fire via cooking. Remember this? Okay, electricity is considered fire making. You tell me why. You know how electricity works.
The circuit.
Yeah, you get the circuits together and they combust. That's how it works. Okay. Okay, so sometimes there are actual fires that take place on Shabbos. So the question is asked, are you allowed to put out a fire? So the answer is even if there's a remote danger to life. Did I say an absolute danger? No. I said a remote danger. Even if there's a remote danger to life, you put out the fire immediately. If there's not even a remote danger to life, for instance, in Israel, well, certainly in the older buildings, I don't know about the more modern buildings, in the older buildings, everything is stone. The floors are stone, the walls are stone, everything is stone. So if a fire breaks out in the building, there's no danger to life. There's danger to your furniture, but no danger to life. So there, what you could do, where there's absolutely no danger to life potentially, is you could put water all around where the fire is presently, and then it'll burn itself out. But you can't put it out directly. You can only put it out directly where there's any danger to life, even a remote danger to life. Okay, clear? Okay, next thing that we have to go back to and revisit. Remember grinding? Remember that with the wheat? Okay. So all medications are ground. This is how they manufacture them. So of all the possible things that a person does in which they feel they're in control, healing themselves gives a person a very, very strong feeling of I'm in control of my body. I don't need to think about God. I don't need to think, okay, right? So therefore, all medications, except for the exceptions I'll tell you, that was a terrible sentence, other than the exceptions I'll tell you, okay, are muktzah and forbidden on Shabbos. Which medications are permitted? Anything that a person needs because of their endangering themselves if they don't take it, even a remote danger, even a possible danger, even an accrued danger. You understand that? You understand these three categories? So a remote danger would mean, let's say, a person has allergies to bees, but not to the point where they're going to choke. They're just going to have more swelling than somebody else does. But there is a possibility that the swelling will end up being internal swelling and they will choke. That's called a remote danger. You would take medication in the case of a remote danger. You don't have to wait until it's absolute. There's also such a thing as culminative danger. If a person doesn't take insulin once, they're not going to go into diabetic shock. But it's one after another, so you could take that. What?
Thank you.
Okay. Bless her, okay. So you could take diabetes medication even though there's no immediate danger. Possible danger is where everything is fine right now, but who knows where things will be in 5 minutes, like a woman who's about to give birth, yeah? Okay, so in all those cases, you use medication, go to the hospital, do what you have to do. Okay, clear? That's one category. Danger, possible danger, culminative danger. Okay. Next, one down from there is serious pain. If a person is in serious pain, even though there's absolutely no danger, like a stomachache or a toothache, okay, yeah? if they feel ill enough to want to lie down, they should take medication on Shabbos. Okay, one down from there, you're in no pain whatsoever, okay, or very little pain, but you're in the habit of taking vitamin D and vitamin C every day. Skip Shabbos. Take it Mitzvah Shabbos. Okay, clear? Okay. And last thing, I keep on saying last thing because I remember more things, carrying, which is important. I forgot it because in Eretz Yisrael there's an Erev every place. So carrying there are two things that are mentioned explicitly in the Torah. So one is like all of the things having to do with the Mishkan, but the two that are mentioned separately are fire making and carrying. Okay, so those have specific severity because harnessing energy gives you a feeling of extreme authority and control, and so does having absolute freedom of motion. You can go wherever you want, gives you this feeling of freedom and not needing God. So what kind of carrying or going far is forbidden? So a house is considered a private domain. You could always carry indoors, okay? Outdoors, if it's fenced in, may be a private domain, okay? That's where an Erev comes in. So an Erev is like a big fence, only it doesn't have to be big, just a string, but it encloses someplace, okay, yeah? Okay, so you could carry within a closed-in area. The laws of how to make an Erev are fairly complex, but you can carry where there's an Erev. Where there's no Erev, you can't carry. In addition to not being able to carry anything, you also can't walk beyond where an Erev could be placed at furthest, which is around 2 miles. So it's 2 miles from the last house in wherever you're staying. So for instance, if you're living in Telstone, have you been to Telstone ever?
Yeah.
See, it's so pretty, it's so nice. Okay, so it's surrounded by, on one side, an Arab village called Abu Ghosh, and on the other side, forest. So suppose you go for a walk in the forest, and you walk for like 3/4 of an hour. Guess what? You've gone further than any Arab would let you go. Therefore, you are not allowed to go any further. Okay, got this? So that's called distance. Clear? Any questions on any of the laws of Shabbos? Yeah?
So what if, like, personally for me, I cannot sleep in new places.
Yes.
And especially for Shabbos, I'm sleeping in new places.
Right.
So I always carry my sleep medication.
Uh-huh.
Should I take it, not take it? Because till now I've been taking it.
Mm-hmm. That's I don't know. So that's something that would be good for you to ask one of the halacha teachers.
Okay.
So going back to what all of this is about, all of this is about surrender and creating an open space. So in the way we live today, many of us never have an open space. Do you understand what I mean when I say this? We're busy like doing and being and having and more until there's no open space. So the underlying premise is that you'll never see the picture while you're in the picture. You have to step out of the picture to see the picture. So this gives you the ability to see the beautiful world God created, the glory of being alive. Okay, it's meant to give you that space. Now, to help you fill the space, there are also positive mitzvot for Shabbos, things that you do. So I'm going to take you now through the positive mitzvot. So the first is just preparing for Shabbos. So getting your clothes clean, cooking, cleaning up, all of that is in order to make this empty space. So just the act of preparation is considered a mitzvah. So when you leave Niveh eventually, people do, I don't know why, whatever, but when you leave Niveh eventually and succeed in life and and you're rolling in money, so you're in a position that you could say, Jeeves, Shabbos for 25 this week. Okay, it's still a mitzvah for you to do at least something yourself. Okay, clear? So I once was at a Shabbaton weekend in Prague, and a very wealthy woman went into the kitchen Erev Shabbos to season the cholent for the whole, Okay, she was very insistent, like the chef had to let her, whatever. But that's like, you have to do something. Okay, clear? Okay, next. Okay, it's especially like taking a shower, bathing before Shabbos. Your intent should be to get rid of anything that's limiting, that like all of the nonsense from your week. Okay, clear? Okay, next, candle lighting. It's a mitzvah to light candles in honor of Shabbos, to give you pleasure and to show respect for Shabbos. So this has to be done before Shabbos. You can't light the candles when it's Shabbos already. You also can't light the candles extremely early. Like let's say you're going somewhere and you won't have candles. You can only light it maximally a little under 2 hours before Shabbos. If you're lighting candles way before Shabbos and you don't want to start observing Shabbos, you have to have a mental reservation. Say, I'm not yet accepting Shabbos upon me. And the candles have to be big enough that they'll stay lit when it's already Shabbos. So if you light them early and they're small candles, so they're gone before Shabbos, you did a beautiful act in honor of Friday. Okay, clear?
Can you do mincha after candle lighting?
Could you what?
Do mincha after candle lighting?
If you make a stipulation, you can. That I'm not yet accepting Shabbos. Okay, whether you should or not to begin with is a different question. Okay, so many authorities maintain that Shabbos is so huge that you should daven mincha before Shabbos. Okay, clear? Okay, yeah?
I got it.
Okay, good. Okay, so the custom is to light 2 candles, even though you only have to light 1. So if you're stuck, you ran out of candles, all there is 1 left, don't panic. 1 is okay, but the custom is to light 2. Okay, clear? If you forget to light candles out of negligence, not because you didn't know or some avoidable circumstance arose, but out of negligence, then you're supposed to continually light an extra candle. Okay, clear? Okay, got it? Next. Okay, Kabbalah Shabbat. All the time.
Like you forget it once out of negligence, you're lighting 3
Yeah.
candles for the rest of your life.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. It's rare to not light out of negligence, but if you do, yeah. Okay.
Have you ever seen someone like light 3 candles and you're like, did you forget?
Did you light out of negligence?
No, because people oftentimes a lot of people just like a lot of candles anyway for different family members or for people in their family who aren't lighting on their own behalf because they don't know. It's like not unusual to have people light all sorts of numbers of candles.
Oh, that's really nice. Like if I feel like my sisters never even light candles,
Yeah.
I can always light 2 of them.
Yeah, yeah, people do that. Yeah.
And is it, I think I heard that like, if you don't have any candles, you can like turn a light on.
Yeah, so here's how it goes with the light. Okay, so this works with incandescent lights, not with fluorescent lights in terms of what fire making is, okay? So if you're stuck and there are no candles, so what you could do is you turn off the light, so it's, okay, then you turn it on and say the bracha. You could do that in situations like this. This is especially relevant in hospitals where they don't let you bring in candles outside of Israel. Okay, it makes what you're wondering is, yeah, they don't care about burning down the whole place, whatever. Okay, okay, so that's what you could do. And it's a reasonable second choice. Where should you light? So ideally you light where you eat. If that doesn't work out for whatever reason, you could light where you sleep. Okay, lighting where you neither eat nor sleep is tricky, so you should try to create situations where it's possible to light either where you eat or where you sleep. Okay, got it? Yeah.
Is it either one or the other one? Because once they told me that I needed to do both.
No, you don't need to do both. Some people will have the custom of doing both. And I want you to realize also, there are all sorts of life situations that make lighting candles awkward, like in the hospital, in some hotels, where if you light candles, the smoke alarm goes off, and like whatever. So you could light in your hotel room, okay, by the method I told you. First turn it off, then turn it on. Mm-hmm. And since it's considered best to light where you eat, you could do that, and then go and light also where you eat, but you would only say the bracha in the one in your room. Okay, clear? So you do have that as an option. Okay, clear?
Like when we're at Neve, we light in the dining hall.
Right.
And we go out to meals. And we sleep in our dorms, so we're not like benefiting from the candles.
That's tricky, and nobody sees the candles in the dining hall?
I guess they do, but the lights in the dining hall are on, so it's not like the candles are specifically.
No, even if there's a light on, but are there people in the dining room who'll see the candles, or does everybody go out?
No, so we'll sing Kabbalah Shabbat in the dining hall.
Ah, that's good enough.
Okay.
Okay, clear? Okay. Is there anything that got left? Oh, so Kiddush. Okay, so it's a mitzvah, and it's written into the Torah to sanctify Shabbos, and you do this by making Kiddush. So you say the Kiddush that it says in the Siddur, that you know. You should say it on wine or grape juice. If you're the one making Kiddush, the best is to drink most of the cup. If you're not going to do that, you have to drink enough to sort of fill one cheek. So it's like a significant amount of wine or grape juice. The other people don't have to drink, only if they want to. Okay, clear? Okay, if you don't have wine or grape juice, or if you can't drink wine or grape juice, okay, you could make Kiddush on challah. Okay, got this? If you don't have challah, which could happen, like life is big. The plane got into the airport and it was Shabbos already. Okay, yeah? So you could use any kind of bread, even sliced bread. If you don't have any other kind of bread, you could use sliced bread. Okay, clear? Okay, if you don't even have sliced bread, you could use cake. Okay, but this is only if you don't have it, not if you prefer. You understand what I'm saying? Okay, got it? Okay, so what's Kiddush about? It's about sanctifying food. It's saying that even though mostly the reason we eat is necessity or the pleasure or to comfort ourselves, none of which is particularly holy or uplifting. On Shabbos, you're using the food as a way of expressing this, that it's a gift, and you're using the gift and rejoicing in the gift. So the saying Kiddush sanctifies the gift. If possible, you should have 2 challahs, okay, and they should be whole. And when you say Kiddush, you should cover them. So the reason for covering the bread is usually bread comes first in the order of brachas before wine. But because of Kiddush, you'd say the bracha on the wine first. So the poor bread feels like odd man out and embarrassed and like, why am I being ignored and rejected? So you cover it. So this is meant also to teach you how far you have to go in order not to embarrass anyone. But another reason for the tradition of covering the challahs is because the man, which fell in the desert, was always covered with this sort of layer of dew. So it commemorates the man. Okay, so the reason you're using 2 challahs is because the man would fall double on Friday for the sake of Shabbos. So again, this recalls the man and how all of our sustenance ultimately comes from God.
Why do we do the wine first?
We do the wine first because it's through the wine that we bring in the sanctification of Shabbos. So the reason why we use wine, which was probably a real question, but I didn't catch it, is because unlike other liquids, wine brings out your secret self. And in fact, the gematria of the word wine, yud, yud, nun, is the same as the word sod, samach, vav, dalet, which spells out secret. Okay, clear? So this is wine. This is why wine is the most special kind of thing that you could use for Kiddush. Okay, so then when you wash and you say the bracha on the bread, you're supposed to dip the bread in salt. And the reason for this is that unlike an ordinary meal, when you eat on Shabbos, it's considered to have almost the sanctity of offering sacrifices in the temple, and all of the sacrifices had to have salt sprinkled on them. And the reason for that is salt doesn't spoil. Like you can keep salt for years and years and years. So the idea is that when you bring God into the picture of eating, like in a sacrifice, something eternal is taking place. When you just like go to a pizzeria and have pizza, it's gone, it's forgotten. Okay, clear? Next, I know this is hard for you, but like, what don't we do for God who loves us? Eat well on Shabbos. I know, like, you really would prefer to have quinoa, but okay, but force yourself to have like 4 kinds of salad at least, l'shem shemayim, and perfectly done chicken, maybe more than 1 kind, and whatever. Okay, clear? It's hard, but what don't we do? Yeah? Okay, clear? So when you enjoy the food on Shabbos, it's actually a mitzvah. Okay, clear? So you may be saying, wait a minute, I don't want to be self-deceptive. The reason why I'm eating this mousse is because I like mousse. But you don't normally eat this kind of a meal on an ordinary Wednesday night, right? Wine and challah and all. So it is for the sake of Shabbos. So it all gets into the mitzvah. Okay, clear? Okay. Tov. So that's the first meal. Now we're up to the next day. Other things that we do l'kavod Shabbat. Oh, you also have to dress well for Shabbat, which is also very hard. We would all prefer to wear uniforms or something. But Nebuch, on Shabbos, like you get to go to the good stores and buy something that's out of your price, whatever. But, okay, but again, what don't we do for God? Okay, ideally, I mean, this depends on your finances, but ideally you should have everything like specific for Shabbos, like, Shabbos pajamas, Shabbos under, like everything. Like, like fancy everything, good everything, shoes, coat, everything. But it depends on your finances, obviously. Okay, clear? But you do whatever you can in that direction to have clothes that look like Shabbos and are specially put aside for Shabbos. Okay, clear? Okay, next thing. Okay, it's now the morning, so there's Kiddush again in the morning. Okay, and the morning is considered to be like the most intense part of Shabbos, even though people often feel it at night because of the break between the weekday and Shabbos. But the morning is considered to be the most intense part of Shabbos. Therefore, if you're going to have something really special to eat, save it for the morning. Okay, clear? So if you have only one of those absolutely amazing Napoleons that they sell in Angels, don't ask why I know. Okay, so save it for the morning. Okay, clear? Okay, so you say Kiddush again in the morning. Okay, in Shul on Shabbos they read the Parsha. So it's good for you to go to Shul to hear the Torah read, but you don't have any obligation to do so, men do. This coming week they're going to be reading the Ten Commandments because, as you know, it's the Parsha of the Ten Commandments. So getting the old body out of bed so you could hear the Ten Commandments once a year isn't a bad idea. Okay, clear? Okay, next. Again, this is hard, but like, what don't we do? You're supposed to rest on Shabbos. So, like having a nap. Okay, this is actually a mitzvah, which I know is so hard to observe. Okay, you're telling yourself, really, I should review all of my studies, but no. Okay. Okay, clear? Okay, third meal. So the third meal should be after mincha time. Okay, and it doesn't have to be as serious a meal as the other meals, but it is a mitzvah to eat a third meal. In the winter, especially if you daven late, so your first meal is fairly late and you extend it, so you may not feel like having another meal. So it's meant to give you pleasure, it's not meant to give you pain. So if it's too hard for you to have like a meal, at least have a piece of bread. If even that's too much for you, have a piece of cake. If even that's too much for you, have anything that's cooked, like applesauce. If even that's too much for you, have whatever isn't too much for you. Okay, clear? If you really can't eat anything at all, like if there's an opinion that if you just say Divrei Torah, that's as good as a meal. Because that was the level of Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, which is of course our level as well, that he had as much pleasure in Divrei Torah as we would have in food. Okay, clear? Okay, last thing is Havdalah. So it's a mitzvah to let Shabbos exit through Havdalah the same way it is to make Kiddush on Shabbos. Okay, so Havdalah, want to say something or no? Okay, so Havdalah could be said by a woman or a man. However, the custom is for men to make Havdalah. Okay, clear? But if there's no man around, and for so many of you that's a chronic problem, okay, so you could make Havdalah yourself. Okay, this is clear?
What about Kiddush? Can girls make Kiddush?
Yeah, girls could definitely make Kiddush. It's much less of a problem for girls to make Kiddush than Havdalah.
Okay.
Okay, clear? Okay, so the Havdalah involves a candle and wine and fragrance. So these things all have to do with how when Shabbos is over and you're going back to the real world, you have to thank God for giving you the possibilities of harnessing energy, which is the flame. And you have to say goodbye to the special soul of Shabbos, which is you take the fragrance so as not to be too pained by that. And the wine itself is again the parallel to the Kiddush. Okay, clear? Okay, any Shabbos questions? Good, so now we only have 5 more commandments to go in 2 minutes. Okay, next one, don't murder. The halachic definition of murder is killing anybody who is of no threat to you. It doesn't matter if you like the person or don't, judge them as a good person or not, they're enjoying life or they're not enjoying life, they're productive or not. Okay, clear? So there's no difference in halacha between killing a 99-year-old person who's on life support to killing a 20-year-old who's about to win the Olympics. Okay, clear? Okay, so the reason for this is as long as the soul is in the body, life has purpose, life is a gift. Okay, so we don't.
Terrorists.
So I said murder is killing someone who's of what? No threat to you.
Okay.
Okay, clear? You're allowed to kill anyone who's a threat to you. This includes terrorists, war, the burglar who's in your basement who you think might be armed, whomever. I don't know who normally threatens your life, but whoever normally threatens your life, you're allowed to kill them. And in fact, if you're in a life situation where someone is going to be killed, it's considered, since your ultimate responsibility is to yourself, you kill the other person and not to be in order not to be killed. That's what's proper. Okay, clear? Okay, got it? Okay, humiliating someone is considered to be almost as severe, not as severe, but almost as severe as murdering them, because it makes them feel irrelevant and it makes them think that the soul that they have somehow isn't real. Okay, next, don't commit adultery, which I hope I didn't ruin anybody's evening plans. Okay, clear? So adultery leans somewhat against men. A man is considered to be an adulterer and deserving of the death penalty. Okay, if he's single or married, a single man could be considered an adulterer if he has an affair with a married woman. But only a married woman could be considered an adulteress. A single woman would never be executed for adultery, but potentially a single man could be executed for adultery. Okay, clear? The reason why adultery is considered to be such a grave sin is that people who are married and committed to each other really become one person. So it's very much akin to murder. Okay, clear? The offshoots of adultery include all of the forbidden relationships that you're familiar with, incestual relationships, all of the forbidden relationships. Okay, clear? Next one, don't kidnap. Okay? So the halachic definition of kidnapping is robbing someone of their freedom of movement for reasons of your gain. So today, when divorce proceedings take place, oftentimes custody, not oftentimes, but sometimes one parent gets exclusive custody. Then the other parent sometimes kidnaps the child or the children. So in halacha, although that's forbidden, it's not considered actual kidnapping because it's not for reasons of gain. Okay, it's just an ordinary act that's forbidden. Okay, clear? All sorts of other theft is also forbidden, but the most severe form of theft is when you actually steal a person's freedom by kidnapping them. But all other kinds of theft that you're familiar with, like financial theft, all of that, it's all forbidden. Next one, okay? The next one is bearing false witness in court. So even though lying in a general sense is a bad idea and is forbidden elsewhere in Torah, in court it's considered to be extremely bad because bearing false testimony corrupts the justice system. You're from South America, right? Who's from South America? You are. Is the justice system there corrupt?
Very.
Very. So the result of that, anybody from Russia? Okay, it's corrupt there too, right? Okay. When the justice system is corrupt, then people take the law into their own hands, and you have social chaos and anarchy and all of the other bad stuff. Okay, clear? So even if you don't like the system, you can't lie in court because any system is better than social chaos and anarchy. That makes sense? Okay, clear? Okay, the last one. The last one is not envying anybody's marriage partner, home, possessions, anything that belongs to someone else. So this means actually making some attempt to get what somebody else has. Not just in your mind. You think, oh, wow, I wish my husband was like him. No. You have to do something. You have to act on it. So the reason why this is considered so serious is because it's God's providence that gave you your life and all of the things that accompany your life. So because of this is considered by many of the commentators the most important of the commandments. Because if you accept that what you have and what you are is what you're supposed to be and what you're supposed to have, all of the other ones fall into place. Okay, clear? So that's how you do 5 commandments in 2 minutes. Okay, clear. Tov, zehu.